Valve is working with depressed productivity and has been for over a year. Many who work at the company had to be asked to leave by Washington health officials at the beginning of COVID, and somehow, from a work and home environment, they were able to ship Half-Life Alyx. That said, everything following has been slow, samey, and sporadic. Valve followed up their largest release in years with very little publicly, and a significant amount of hard-to-understand leaks and hints behind the scenes. Since the release of Half-Life Alyx, many have been asking the question, what exactly is Valve working on? So it's time for the fast as hell Valve news recap. In the months before Jeep made the final announcement on Artifact 1.0, the second set and second season of Artifact was in heavy development, and few within the community got to see it and play with it. This set included mutation cards, puzzles, and over 100 new cards to play. Footage of this original update has yet to surface, and up until now, only hearsay on the features exist. However, everything was recycled by a new team in the first half of 2020 with Artifact 2.0, a game that is only technically out, as it's been in closed beta for over a year. However, it appears that the team has significantly slowed down since the holiday break. Updates, blog posts, and even SteamDB changes behind the scenes have been found to slow down. As of now, it's known that if the game is finished, it will contain a mobile port, a single-player campaign, and cross-platform support. However, given the state of the world, it's not known if the game will continue development or die silently. More information is to come. The same can be said for Dota Underlords, which is almost entirely dead. The last major updates to the game, which brought the newspapers and blood in the streets, was helmed by community members, and since nothing of note has occurred in the game. Around the time Blood in the Streets released, many leaks were being passed my way related to Season 2, which was set to include 2 new Underlords, a dungeon crawler deck building mode with significant inspiration from Slay the Spire, as well as the reintroduction of couriers, yet as a novel mechanic. However, it seems that ever since Adrian Final left the Underlords team back in early to mid 2020, nothing of note could be brought off the ground, and the game, for all intents and purposes, has died. Dota 2 is getting an anime, the specifics of which are a topic for another report once I get confirmation on who pitched the idea to whom. If this was Netflix approaching Valve, then other franchises could very well be used for media down the road. Dota 2 is set to be getting new heroes throughout the year, according to a recent blog post, replacing the normal Q4 patch release. This is due to the Dota 2 team being the second or third largest during work from home, combined with the highest concentration of contracted user-generated content artists at Valve. These new heroes are set to include characters from IceFrog's previous game, Heroes of Newerth, including the recently leaked Puppet Master. Lastly, it appears that Custom Hero Clash, at present a hugely popular custom game, may be getting an official Valve adaptation sometime soon. In the Valley of Gods was officially put on hold in mid-2019, and since the release of Half-Life Alyx, nothing has occurred inside or out related to the game. A few have pointed out how a Campo Santo hire was posting on Twitter about hieroglyphics, but In the Valley of Gods is also dead. The Steam Year in Review is a great way of finding out about what the team intends on releasing in the future, and as of writing, we are aware of a revamp to mobile, a complete overhaul to every non-updated piece of Steam client, more improvements to Proton and Steam Play on Linux, expansions to Steam Labs, and expansions of the Trust system. The team recently added PS5 controller support to input, expanded Remote Play Together to non-Steam client users on any browser, and updated how news and game patch notes are delivered to players. They also significantly increased the quality and frequency of first-party sales. Valve is, however, being forced to release a significant amount of insider information related to Steam performance, which is questionably useful, so we will follow up on that when it occurs. SteamVR has been updated to be fully compliant with the OpenXR standards and allows for far more finite control over things like motion smoothing on a per-app basis. However, SteamVR Home, a Source 2 VR social game, is dead, even if there were in development Left 4 Dead 2 and Portal 2 content packs as recently as 2019. Steam hardware is going crazy, with the Valve Index headphones being tooled for a standalone product, a new Steam controller that has been in the works since at least late 2016, and many patents that hint towards exactly what will be in the next Valve successor to the Index. Future hardware is set to be a topic of another report. Gabe Newell, in the same interview where he denied knowledge of Citadel, also talked at length about brain-computer interfacing. A rule of thumb with BCI is that anything that can be done invasively, meaning done through implants directly on the brain, can be possible externally within 10 years. Gabe Newell believes that productizing invasive brain-computer interfacing is possible and surprisingly in the near future. Okay, Left 4 Dead 2, following the success of the Last Stand update, is continuing to get frequent patches from the original team, with Kerry Davis still working as an intermediary between the community team and Valve. It appears that the most recent patch allows for matchmaking on a choice of official servers or community servers, and hints towards future content updates are flying around the community, which I welcome with open arms. Also, Valve was granted a ruling to release the uncensored version of Left 4 Dead 2 in Germany as an optional free DLC. Portal 2 appears to be receiving similar attention to Left 4 Dead 2, with a recent patch that pushes a Vulkan renderer in its own version of Source, itself using a variation that has been previously created by community members. This does not confirm a utilization of a community team yet. However, the surprisingly frequent activity on the SteamDB tracker indicates that we are likely in for something in the near future. CSGO is slowing down, however, with the Vulkan renderer likely being tested for use outside of just Portal 2. Its use in CSGO would likely signal the cancellation of Source 2. However, none of it is confirmed at the time of writing. CSGO's team has been silently working on backend and balance changes, such as the removal of bots from competitive and an increase in regions that official Steam datagram servers are reaching, such as Moscow. That said, nothing much is known to be in the works for this title, as no leaks can be reported on at this time. Team Fortress 2, though, somehow, is far more active than Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and although I've detailed everything I know in a recent report, it's said that it will be receiving both small and large content updates throughout the year, including tools to combat the automated player problems. Work also appears to have begun on entire games using the Team Fortress IP, more information of which will be coming to the channel as soon as I can. Half-Life Alyx, which has seen some post-launch updates, is almost entirely dead. No one seems to be working on bug fixes or improvements to the workshop, community content integration, or tool sets. The only thing in the future for this game appears to be the complete version of the soundtrack, which has been releasing by chapters over the last year. Now, for Source 2 overall, it appears to be getting some form of RTX support, although a full Source 2 SDK is not something that Valve is interested in doing. The closest thing to a Source 2 toolset will come with the release of Sandbox by Facepunch, which has received so much public information dumps over the last few months that a report is needed, and soon. Lastly, you have two new games that I'm aware of. First, Citadel, which a huge report has already been published, check that out, and at the time of writing, no new information has been found since that report was published. And lastly, there is word of IceFrog, the creator of Dota, working on a new game. Have a good day!